Thank you for being with us on the Feast of St. Marianne Cope. Our top story tonight, voting is well underway in the Granite State for the first in the nation primary, with polling closing at most sites in just about an hour or so. Here is what is at stake. On the Republican side, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is fighting for national momentum against former President Donald Trump. And on the Democratic side, candidates Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson are attempting to mount a challenge against President Biden. And joining us now live from Manchester, New Hampshire is Philip Crowther, international affiliate correspondent for the Associated Press. Phil, great to see you. So what is it like out there on the ground? I know New Hampshire's Secretary of State was predicting record turnout today.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't know yet whether that will be the case, but I can tell you that this morning early, and polling locations did open early here in New Hampshire, 7 o'clock in the morning in some places, 6 a.m. here in Manchester in some polling locations. There were quite a few people out there, but very orderly. What I heard, though, from some of those voters who I interviewed this morning was essentially a reflection of what we have been seeing and hearing in terms of predictions and the polls over the last few days. You're seeing very high support for former President Donald Trump. He is, of course, the favorite to win here in New Hampshire. He's the favorite to get the nomination for the Republican Party, also to go up against President Joe Biden in November. We know that much, but what you really felt there is that strong support from him from the Republican Party base. Now, what Nikki Haley, though, needs, the former ambassador to the United Nations, she needs this system here in New Hampshire to really work for her. And it is a peculiar one because here unaffiliated voters, meaning those who are not registered with either the Republican or Democratic Party, they can vote in this Republican Party primary. And it is those more moderate voters who Nikki Haley really needs to get on board. She needs them to vote en masse today for her to be able to pull off what would be an upset, a victory for her here in New Hampshire.
Philip, what last-minute messages are the candidates sharing with the voters?
Well, the only thing you really can do at this late hour is to ask for your supporters to come out in force, to get out the vote. The former president today predicted a big loss for Nikki Haley in this primary. She also spoke at a polling location, not really responding to that offer, if you will, from Donald Trump. She says this is a marathon, not a sprint. Time for some last-minute cliches from the candidates. Both of them, both Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, spoke at polling locations here in New Hampshire earlier today. And
I know that you talked to voters at a couple of the polling locations today. What did they have to say, and what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, look, I think one of the big priorities, at least for Donald Trump voters, from what we've heard from polls, first of all, but also from those who I spoke to today in the likes of Derry and Londonderry, that's about 20 to 30 minutes outside of here, the largest city in New Hampshire, in Manchester, is that their priorities are, well, border security and illegal immigration. We're a long, long way from the border with Mexico, but that is a lot of Republican Party voters' top priority. When you speak to those who will be supporting Nikki Haley, it's a different message, of course. It is a wish to go back to a Republican Party, not of yesteryear, but certainly of the pre-Donald Trump years. Anyone who's voted for Nikki Haley, you will hear them most likely at some point talk about the fact that they want to get away from the chaos that a Donald Trump presidency, in their eyes, brings with it. Those are some of the big conclusions, I think, you can get from speaking to voters here in New Hampshire on Election Day.
Phil, we have about 30 seconds left or so. I know the polls are still open right now in New Hampshire, but any predictions from you? How do you see this shaking out?
Look, I think it's worth looking at the final results. If we have to speculate on it, then if Nikki Haley wins this, it's a big success for her and a big surprise. If she loses it by a small margin, that can also probably be sold as a success story for her, a comeback story of sorts. If she loses by more than 10 percentage points, say, then the pressure will increase on her to drop out of the race. That pressure will come from donors, from supporters, and most likely from the former president, Donald Trump, who thinks he's got this tied up, essentially.
Philip Crowther, live in Manchester, New Hampshire for us. Thank you so much.